How is it possible to be alive, but be buried? How is it possible for your family to cry over you while you're breathing? How is it possible to come home and find someone else has taken your place? I was 28 years old, a millionaire, successful, owner of a $58 million tech company. I decided to take a vacation. Thailand. Beach. Peace. Just 2 weeks. But the first night, I had a drink, felt something strange. Dizziness. Blurred vision. Then, darkness. I don't remember anything. I just remember my eyes opening. In a white room, with the sound of medical machines, and a Thai nurse looking at me in shock, saying, You're alive? I said, yes. Why? How long have I been here? She said, 18 months. You've been in a coma for 18 months. 18 months? What does that mean? Your family. We notified them. But they said you died. Said they took your body back to America. But I was here. Alive. And they buried me? When I returned to America, I went to the cemetery, saw my gravestone. Eve Mitchell, 1995 to 2023. Beloved daughter, sister, friend. I went to my house, put my key in. A strange woman opened the door, said, "Can I help you?" I said, "This is my house." She laughed, said, "No, honey. This house belongs to me and my husband. We bought it a year ago." I went to my lawyer's office. He said, "Eve, you're alive?" I said, "Yes. What's going on?" And he, with a pale face, said, "Your family, your brother, your sister, they declared you dead, divided the inheritance, sold your company, spent your money, and now there's nothing left for you." I realized they killed me without killing me, just with a signature, a death certificate, and 18 months of waiting, so they could steal my life. Baby, come close, because this story, honey, this one is about being erased while you're still breathing, about family who chose money over waiting, about coming back from the dead to find you have nothing left. My name is Eve. I'm 58 years old now, but this story begins when I was 28. When I died without dying, and came back to nothing. Let me start with who I was before Thailand. Before the coma. Before I became a ghost in my own life. I was Eve Mitchell, 28 years old. Tech entrepreneur. Self-made millionaire. Founded a software company at 23 called Data Flow Solutions. Cloud-based data management for small businesses. Simple concept. Massive market. By 28, the company was valued at $58 million. I owned 80% of it. Did the math. That's about $46 million in my pocket if I ever sold. I wasn't planning to sell. I loved my company. Loved the work. Loved building something from nothing. I was also exhausted. 5 years of 80-hour weeks. No vacations, no breaks, no life outside of work. My doctor told me I was burning out. Said I needed rest. A real vacation, not a weekend, not a long weekend. A real, honest-to-God break. So I booked 2 weeks in Thailand. Phuket. Beach resort. No laptop. No phone calls. Just sun and sand and sleep. My family thought I was crazy. My brother Marcus said, "You can't just leave for 2 weeks. What if something happens with the company?" "I have a COO," I said. "He can handle it." My sister Diane said, "Thailand? That's so far. What if you get sick? What if something happens?" "I'll be fine," I said. "I'm 28, healthy. I'll be back before you know it." I left on a Monday. Flew business class. Arrived Tuesday morning. Checked into my resort. Beautiful place. Private bungalow. Ocean view. Paradise. I spent the first day sleeping. Jet lag. Exhaustion. 5 years of burnout catching up. That evening, I went to the resort bar. Ordered a cocktail. Something tropical. Coconut and rum and pineapple. The bartender was friendly. Thai man in his 40 seconds. Chatty. Asked where I was from, what I did, made small talk. I drank the cocktail, started feeling weird, dizzy, vision blurring, heart racing. Are you okay? The bartender asked. I don't feel good, I said. Everything went black. I woke up 18 months later in a hospital in Bangkok. But I didn't know it had been 18 months. I thought maybe a few hours. Maybe a day. I opened my eyes. White ceiling, fluorescent lights, the steady beep of monitors, and 4 in my arm. A nurse was checking my vitals. She looked at me, gasped, ran out of the room. A minute later, she came back with a doctor. Young Thai man. Stethoscope around his neck. Shocked expression. Miss Mitchell? He said in accented English. You're awake? Yeah, I said. Voice hoarse. Throat dry. What happened? Where am I? You're in Bangkok General Hospital, he said. You've been here for 18 months. I laughed. Thought he was joking. 18 months? No. I just had a drink at the bar. That was 18 months ago, he said gently. You were brought here unconscious, severely poisoned. We believe someone drugged you. You've been in a coma ever since. The room spun. That's impossible. I'm sorry, he said. But it's true. You've been here 18 months. We contacted your family. They said you died, said they'd made arrangements for your body. We tried to tell them you were alive but in a coma. They said we were mistaken, that you were dead. Why would they say that? The doctor looked uncomfortable. I don't know. But they stopped responding to our calls, stopped paying your medical bills. We've been treating you as a charity case for the past year. I tried to sit up. Couldn't. My body was weak. Atrophied. 18 months of lying in a bed. I need to call them, I said. I need to tell them I'm alive. Of course, the doctor said. We'll help you. They brought me a phone. I called Marcus first. My older brother. My closest family member. The number was disconnected. I tried Diane. My younger sister. Disconnected. I tried my lawyer. David Chang. He'd been my lawyer since I started the company. His number worked. His assistant answered. Chang and Associates. This is Eve Mitchell, I said. I need to speak to David immediately. Long pause. I'm sorry, who? Eve Mitchell. David's been my lawyer for 5 years. Hold, please. A minute later, David came on the line. This is David Chang. David, it's Eve. Silence. Then, Eve? Eve Mitchell? Yes. I'm alive. I'm in Thailand. I've been in a coma but I'm awake now. I need your help. More silence. Then Eve, your family declared you dead 8 months ago. What? They filed a death certificate, held a funeral. You were declared legally dead. Your estate went through probate. Your assets were distributed to your heirs. But I'm not dead. I'm right here. I'm alive. I know that now, David said. But legally, you're dead. And your estate has been settled. Can't we reverse it? File papers? Prove I'm alive? Yes, he said. But it's complicated. And it'll take time. Months, maybe longer. I don't have months, I said. I need to come home. I need my life back. I'll start the paperwork, David said. But Eve, you should know. Your brother and sister. They sold your company, split the proceeds. Spent a lot of it already. My world tilted. They what? I'm sorry. They were your legal heirs. Once you were declared dead, everything went to them. And they didn't waste time. I stayed in Thailand another week. Physical therapy, getting my strength back, preparing to go home. The hospital bill was over $400,000. For 18 months of care. I had no money, no access to my accounts. Legally dead people can't withdraw money. David wired me $10,000 from his own pocket. Said I could pay him back later. Used it to settle a fraction of the bill and book a flight home. I flew back to America. Coach this time. No business class for dead people. Arrived in LA. My city, my home. Except it didn't feel like home anymore. I took an Uber to my house. The house I'd bought 3 years ago. Modern. Minimalist. Ocean view. My dream home. Pulled up to the gate. Different cars in the driveway. Different plants in the yard. Different everything. I rang the doorbell. A woman answered. Mid-30s. Blonde. Confused expression. "Can I help you?" she asked. "This is my house," I said. She laughed nervously. "No, this is my house. My husband and I bought it a year ago." "From who?" "From the estate of the previous owner, Eve Mitchell. She died." "I'm Eve Mitchell," I said. "And I didn't die." Her face went pale. "That's not funny." "I'm not joking. This is my house. I bought it in 2020. I can prove it." She called her husband. He came to the door, looked at me like I was crazy. "We bought this house legally," he said, "through probate. If you have a problem with that, talk to a lawyer." "I will," I said, and I left. I went to the cemetery next. Forest Lawn, where my family had buried me. Found my grave. Section D, plot 247. Fresh flowers on it. Recent. The headstone was granite. Expensive. Engraved with my name. Birth date. Death date. Eve Mitchell. 1995 to 2023. Beloved daughter, sister, friend. I stood there staring at my own grave. My own empty grave. Because I was standing right there. Alive. Breathing. Real. Who was buried here? No one. It was empty. A symbol. A lie. I took a photo. Proof. Evidence. Then I went to find my family. Marcus lived in my old condo. The one I'd owned before buying the house. 2-bedroom. Downtown LA. Worth about $800,000. I'd been letting him live there rent-free. Helping him out while he figured things out. He'd been figuring things out for 6 years. I knocked on the door. Heard footsteps. The door opened. Marcus stood there. Older. Heavier. Expensive clothes. Rolex watch. My money. He looked at me. Eyes went wide. Face went white. "Eve?" he whispered. "Hi, Marcus," I said. "Surprised?" He grabbed my arm. Pulled me inside. Slammed the door. "You're supposed to be dead." I was in a coma. In Thailand. For 18 months. But I woke up. Surprise? The hospital said. "They said you died." "No, they didn't. They said I was alive but in a coma. You chose not to believe them. We thought it was a scam. People trying to get money from us. So you declared me dead, instead of coming to check?" He didn't answer. "Where's Diane?" I asked. She's in New York. She bought an apartment there." "With her share of your estate?" "My estate that I'm still alive to claim?" "Eve, you were gone 18 months. We didn't hear from you. The hospital was asking for money we didn't have. What were we supposed to do?" "Wait," I said simply. "You were supposed to wait for me." We did wait. For months. Then we had to make decisions. Legal decisions. Financial decisions. "You sold my company," I said. $58 million. Where's my share?" Marcus looked away. "It's complicated." "Uncomplicated. It's been distributed, legally, according to your will. I got 40%, Diane got 40%, charities got 20%. It's done. Legally done. Except I'm not dead. Which means the will shouldn't have been executed. Which means you stole from me." "We didn't steal," Marcus said defensively. "We followed the legal process. You were declared dead by a court. We probated your estate. Everything was legal. But I'm alive," I said. "Which means all of that needs to be reversed." "Good luck with that," Marcus said. Cold. Hard. The brother I thought I knew was gone. Replaced by someone who'd tasted my money and didn't want to give it back? "I'll sue you," I said. "I'll sue Diane. I'll sue everyone involved. I'll get my life back." "You can try," Marcus said. "But it'll cost you. Lawyers, time, years maybe. And you don't have any money to fight with. So good luck." He opened the door. "I think you should leave." I left. Because what else could I do? He was right. I had nothing. No money. No assets. No leverage. Just my life. And apparently that wasn't worth much to my family. I found Diane in New York. Took me a week. Borrowed more money from David. Flew across the country. Tracked her down through social media. She'd bought a penthouse in Manhattan. Tribeca, multi-million-dollar place. With my money. I showed up unannounced. Doorman tried to stop me. I pushed past, took the elevator to her floor, knocked on her door. She answered. Designer clothes. Perfect hair. Expensive jewelry. She saw me. Screamed. Actual horror movie scream. Eve? Oh my God. Eve? Yeah, it's me. Back from the dead. She started crying. We thought you were dead. Oh my God, this is impossible. How are you here? I was in a coma. I woke up. Now I want my life back? She invited me in. Tried to hug me. I stepped back. Don't, I said. Don't pretend you're happy I'm alive. I am happy, she said. This is amazing. You're alive, you're okay. I'm not okay. You declared me dead, took my money, bought this place with my inheritance. We thought you were dead, she said again. We mourned you. We had a funeral. We buried you. You buried an empty casket. We didn't know that. We thought, the hospital said there were remains. We trusted them. The hospital said I was alive, in a coma. You chose not to believe them because it was more convenient to have me dead. She didn't deny it. Just stood there crying. I want my money back, I said. All of it. The company, the assets, everything. I can't, she sobbed. I spent most of it. The apartment, the car, investments that didn't pan out. I don't have it anymore. Then you'll have to get it back. Sell the apartment, liquidate assets, whatever it takes. I can't, she said again. This is my home now. My life. You can't just come back and take it. It was my life first, I said. You stole it. We didn't steal, we inherited, legally, from someone who wasn't dead. She had no answer. Because there was no good answer, David filed paperwork to have my death certificate reversed. To prove I was alive. To begin the process of reclaiming my estate. It took 9 months. 9 months of hearings. Testimonies. Medical records from Thailand. Proof that I'd been in a coma. Proof that my family had been notified. Proof that they'd ignored it. The court finally ruled. I was alive. The death certificate was voided. The probate was invalidated. But the money? The assets? Those were harder to get back. Marcus had spent most of his share. Investments. Cars. A boat. Gone. Diane had spent hers too. The apartment. Travel. Shopping. Lifestyle inflation. Nothing left. The company had been sold to a competitor. They weren't giving it back. It was a legal sale. Binding. The house had been sold to that couple. They'd bought it in good faith. Court said they got to keep it. Most of my assets were gone. Legally dispersed. Legally spent. Legally unrecoverable. Out of $58 million, I got back about $8 million. A fraction. The rest was gone forever. I sued Marcus and Diane anyway. For fraud. For ignoring evidence I was alive. For rushing to declare me dead. We settled. They each paid me $2 million from what they had left. $4 million total. Plus the $8 million the court recovered. $12 million out of $58 million. That's what I got back. About 20% of what was mine. The rest? Gone. Spent. Lost. Stolen legally? I'm 58 now. 30 years later. And I've rebuilt. Not to where I was. But to something. Started a new company. Smaller. More careful. Built it back up to $15 million over 20 years. Bought a new house. Not as nice as the old one. But mine. Rebuilt my life. Piece by piece. Year by year. But I never forgave Marcus or Diane. Cut them out completely. They tried to reconnect a few years after. Said they were sorry. Said they'd made mistakes. I said no. You don't come back from stealing someone's life while they're in a coma. They're strangers to me now. Strangers who happen to share my DNA. Nothing more. So baby, here's what I learned. Family will betray you if there's money involved. Blood doesn't guarantee loyalty. Sometimes your family is the first to bury you. Being legally dead is harder to reverse than you'd think. The system doesn't like admitting mistakes. Even when you're standing right there. Alive. Breathing. Money changes people. Corrupts them. makes them capable of things you'd never imagine. And if you ever go overseas alone, tell someone, leave instructions. Make sure people know where you are, because if something happens, your family might not wait for you. Mine didn't. Thank you for sitting with me today, baby. This story still hurts. 30 years later, still hurts. But I survived. I rebuilt. I'm here. You are strong. You are resilient. You can survive betrayal and loss and being erased. You can come back. Even from the dead. Let me tell you what happened in the years after I came back. The rebuilding. The healing. The revenge that wasn't revenge but felt like it. The first year was the hardest. I was legally alive again. But practically dead. No credit history for 18 months. No employment history. No references. No nothing. Banks didn't want to give me loans. Employers didn't want to hire someone with an 18-month gap, explained by I was in a coma in Thailand. I lived with David, my lawyer, for 6 months. He and his wife took me in, fed me, supported me, while I figured out what the hell to do with my second life. You could write a book, David's wife suggested. Your story is incredible. People would want to read it. I don't want to be known as the woman who came back from the dead, I said. I want to be known for what I build, not what I survived. So I started building. With the $12 million I'd recovered. It wasn't $58 million. But it was enough. Started small. Consulting first. Helping small businesses with their data management. The thing I knew best. Then I hired 2 people. Then 5. Then 10. Within 3 years, I had a company again. Not as big as Dataflow. But real. Profitable. Mine. I called it Phoenix Solutions. Because I'd risen from the ashes. Cliché? Maybe. But true. Marcus reached out when he heard I'd started a new company. Wanted to invest. Wanted to be part of it. I laughed in his face. You stole my last company. Why would I let you anywhere near this one? I didn't steal it, he said. I inherited it. Legally. Because you declared me dead when I wasn't. We thought you were dead. No, you didn't, I said. You hoped I was dead. Because it was convenient. Because you'd been waiting your whole life for me to die so you could have something. And when you got the chance, you took it. He tried to argue. To justify. To explain. I cut him off. Get out, and don't contact me again. He left. Tried a few more times over the years. Emails. Calls. Always wanting something. Always claiming he was sorry. I blocked him every time. Some doors, once closed, stay closed forever. Diane was different. She actually seemed remorseful. Kept sending letters. Long handwritten letters. Apologizing. Explaining. Begging for forgiveness. I was scared, she wrote in one letter. Scared of being poor. Scared of going back to struggling. When the lawyer said you were dead and we'd inherit everything, it felt like a miracle. Like, finally I could breathe. I know that's selfish. I know that's wrong. But I was drowning and your death felt like a life raft. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I read her letters. All of them. But I never responded. Because what could I say? It's okay that you stole my life because you were scared of being poor? That's not okay. That's never okay. She stopped writing after 5 years. Gave up. Moved on. Last I heard, she's living in Seattle. Married. 2 kids. Middle-class life. She spent all my money and ended up back where she started. Karma? Maybe. But it doesn't make me feel better. The couple who bought my house sent me a letter a few years after I came back. Said they'd heard my story. Felt terrible. Wanted to offer me something. We know this house was yours, they wrote. We bought it legally, but we understand it has sentimental value. If you ever want to visit, see the place, spend time here, you're welcome. We've kept some of your things we found, photos, books, mementos. We'd like to return them. I didn't visit. Couldn't bear it. But I appreciated the gesture. Appreciated that some people have empathy. Have decency. They mailed me the items. A box of photos. My favorite books. A necklace my mother had given me before she died. Things my family had left behind or sold with the house. I cried when I opened that box. Cried for what I'd lost. Cried for what I'd found again. Cried for the strangers who showed me more kindness than my own family. I met someone 10 years after I came back. His name was Robert. Architect. Divorced. 2 kids. Kind. Patient. Real. I told him my story on our 3rd date. The coma. The betrayal. The coming back from the dead. He listened. Didn't interrupt. Didn't judge. Just listened. When I finished, he said, "That's the most insane thing I've ever heard. And you're the strongest person I've ever met." We dated for 2 years. Got married. Small ceremony. Just us and a few close friends. No family. I didn't have family anymore. Not real family. Robert became my family. His kids became my family. We built something new. Something that wasn't haunted by betrayal and theft and graves with my name on them. Phoenix Solutions grew. 15 million in revenue by year 10. 25 employees. Offices in 3 cities. Real. Sustainable. Successful. Not as big as Dataflow had been. But mine. Completely mine. No one could take it. No one could steal it. No one could declare me dead and divide it up. I structured it carefully. Legal protections. Trusts. Contingency plans. If something happened to me, everything was locked down. No one could touch it without ironclad proof of my death. Actual body. Autopsy. No more empty caskets. Paranoid? Maybe. But earned paranoia. Justified paranoia. I went back to Thailand 5 years ago. 25 years after the coma. Wanted to see the place. The hospital. The resort where it happened. The resort was still there. Renovated. Different name. But the same place. I talked to the manager. Told him my story. He checked old records. Found my name. Found the incident report from 25 years ago. "We changed ownership after that," he said. "The drugging incident. The lawsuit from your family. It nearly destroyed the original owners. My family sued them? Yes. For $10 million. Claimed negligence. Claimed the resort was responsible for your poisoning. Settled for $2 million. I felt sick. They sued while I was in a coma? Yes. The settlement money was paid to your estate. After you were declared dead, so my family had gotten even more money. $2 million from the resort, on top of the $58 million from my company. And they'd spent it all. Kept none of it for me. Was anyone ever arrested? I asked. For drugging me? No. The police investigated, but no evidence, no witnesses. Could have been anyone. Tourist, local, employee. They never solved it. So somewhere out there, someone drugged me. Put me in an 18-month coma. Destroyed my life. And they got away with it. I'll never know who. Never know why. Never get justice for that part. Just another unanswered question in a life full of them. I visited my grave last year. 30 years after it was dug, the headstone is still there. My name. My dates. My lie. I thought about having it removed. Having the plot reclaimed. Erasing the evidence of my death. But I left it. As a reminder. A memorial to the life I lost. The family I lost. The innocence I lost. Eve Mitchell. 1995 to 2023. Died but didn't die. Buried but still breathing. Declared dead by family who loved money more than truth. That grave is a testament, not to my death, but to my survival, to my refusal to stay buried, to my resurrection. Let it stand. Let people see it. Let them wonder. Let them know that sometimes dead people come back. And when they do, they remember everything. So baby, let me tell you my absolute final truth. Death is easy to fake. Life is harder to prove. The system is designed for closure, for endings, for neat resolutions. But sometimes, people come back. From comas. From mistakes. From being declared dead too soon. And when they do, the system fights them. Makes them prove they're alive. Makes them fight for what was always theirs. Makes them start over with nothing. Family is supposed to wait for you, support you. Believe you're alive until proven otherwise. But money changes that equation, makes waiting inconvenient, makes hope expensive. makes declaring you dead the easier option. If you're ever in a situation where you might disappear, leave evidence, leave instructions, leave people who will fight for you. Because your family might not. Mine didn't. They chose money. Fast money. Easy money. Your death money. And I survived anyway. Built a new life. Found new family. Created new wealth. Not as much as before, but earned, protected. Mine. I'm 58 now, 30 years post-coma. 30 years post-resurrection. 30 years of living a second life I never expected to have. And I'm grateful. Not for the betrayal. Not for the loss. But for the clarity it gave me. I know who I am now. Know what I'm capable of. Know who deserves my trust, and who doesn't. I know that coming back from the dead isn't a miracle. It's a curse and a blessing. A trauma and a gift. An ending and a beginning. I died at 28. Came back at 30. Lived 2 lives in one body. And the second life, harder though it was, made me who I am. Stronger. Wiser. Unbreakable. Because if you can survive being buried alive, metaphorically, you can survive anything. Thank you for sitting with me today, baby. For hearing this impossible story. For believing that sometimes, dead people walk. And when they do, they have stories to tell. If you ever feel erased, forgotten, buried alive by circumstances or people, know this. You can dig your way out. You can come back. You can rebuild. It won't be easy. It won't be fair. But it's possible. And possibility is enough. You are alive. You are resilient. You are worth fighting for. Even when your family says otherwise. Even when the system says otherwise. Even when the whole world declares you dead. You decide if you're alive. No one else. Just you. There's one more thing I need to tell you. Something I've never shared with anyone. Not Robert. Not David. No one. The bartender who served me that drink in Thailand. The one who was there when I collapsed. I never forgot his face. 10 years after I woke up, I hired a private investigator. Asked him to find out what happened to that bartender. Who he was. Where he went. What he knew. The investigator came back with a file. Thin. Incomplete. But revealing. The bartender's name was Somkai Prathit. He'd worked at that resort for 6 months. Left 2 days after I was hospitalized. Disappeared. No forwarding address. No contact information. Gone. The investigator dug deeper. Found bank records. Somkai had deposited $50,000 in his account the day after I collapsed. Cash deposit. No source listed. Then he'd withdrawn it all. Left the country. Trail went cold in Cambodia. Someone paid him. To drug me. To put me in that coma. Someone wanted me gone. And they paid $50,000 to make it happen. But who? And why? I spent years trying to figure it out. Investigated business rivals. Ex-partners. Anyone who might have wanted me out of the way. Found nothing. No smoking gun. No confession. No answers. Just the knowledge that my coma wasn't an accident. It was attempted murder. And someone got away with it. I thought about Marcus and Diane. Wondered if they'd been involved. If they'd known. If they'd paid Somkai. The timeline worked. They would have known I was going to Thailand. Would have had time to arrange something. Would have had motive. My $58 million estate. But I had no proof. Just suspicion. Just a gut feeling that wouldn't go away. I confronted Marcus about it once. 5 years ago. Showed him the bank records. The investigator's report. Asked him directly. Did you have something to do with this? Did you pay someone to drug me? He looked at the documents. Looked at me. And said, "You think I tried to kill you? I think you benefited from me being in a coma. I think you rushed to declare me dead. I think you cashed in pretty quickly for someone who was grieving. I didn't try to kill you," he said. His voice flat. Emotionless. "But I'm not going to pretend I was devastated when we thought you were dead. You always had everything, the company, the money, the success. And we got nothing. So yeah, when you were gone, it felt like our turn. Finally. But I didn't cause it. Do you know who did? No. And I don't care. What's done is done." I left. Never spoke to him again. Because whether he caused it or not, he'd benefited from it. And shown no remorse, no guilt, no humanity. That's not family. That's a stranger who shares your DNA. Nothing more. I think about the what ifs sometimes. What if I hadn't gone to Thailand? What if I'd stayed at a different resort? What if I hadn't ordered that drink? What if I'd died? Really died? Would anyone have cared beyond the inheritance? Would Marcus and Diane have mourned me? Or just divided my assets and moved on? I'll never know. And maybe that's for the best. Because knowing would hurt more than not knowing. Phoenix Solutions hit $30 million in revenue last year. 40 employees now. Considering an acquisition offer. $120 million. All cash. I'm thinking about it. Not because I need the money, but because I'm tired. 60 years old. 30 years of rebuilding. 30 years of proving I'm alive. I'm ready to rest. Robert says I should take it. Says we could retire. Travel. Enjoy life. Stop fighting. Stop proving. Just be. He's probably right. But there's a part of me that's scared to let go. Scared that if I stop fighting, stop building, stop proving my worth, I'll disappear again. Become a ghost again. Be declared dead again. Trauma does that. Makes you hold on too tight. Makes you afraid of stillness. Makes you believe that the moment you stop moving, you'll be erased. But I'm working on it. In therapy now, dealing with the PTSD, the hypervigilance, the fear that I'll fall asleep and wake up 18 months later to find I've been declared dead again. It's slow. Healing always is. But it's happening. Piece by piece. Day by day. I'm learning to believe I'm real. I'm here. I'm alive. And no one can take that from me again. I visited Diane 2 years ago. First time in 28 years. She'd reached out. Said she was dying. Cancer. Stage 4. Wanted to see me. Wanted to apologize in person. I almost didn't go. But Robert convinced me. You'll regret it if you don't. Not for her, for you, for closure. So I went. Flew to Seattle. Went to her house. Small. Modest. Nothing like the Manhattan penthouse she'd bought with my money. She answered the door. Thin. Bald from chemo. Frail. But her eyes were the same. Still my little sister's eyes? Eve, she said. And started crying immediately. Thank you for coming. I didn't think you would. We sat in her living room. Tea. Small talk. Dancing around the real reason I was there. Finally, she said it. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. For everything. For declaring you dead. For taking your money. For choosing greed over family. I've lived with that guilt every day for 30 years. And now I'm dying. And I need you to know. I'm sorry. Okay, I said. Because what else could I say? Do you forgive me? She asked. Desperate. Pleading. Dying woman seeking absolution. I don't know, I said honestly. I'm working on it. But I'm not there yet. And I might never be. She nodded. Crying harder now. I understand. I don't deserve forgiveness. I just wanted you to know. You were the best thing in my life. And I destroyed you. And I'll never forgive myself for that. Good, I said. Not cruel. Just honest. You shouldn't. I stayed an hour. We talked about other things. Her kids. Her marriage. The life she'd built after spending all my money. It was a small life. Unremarkable. She'd gained nothing in the end. Lost everything including me. She died 3 months later. I went to the funeral. Stood in the back. Didn't speak. Didn't cry. Just bore witness. To the end of my sister. The one who'd buried me alive. Did I forgive her before she died? I don't know. Maybe I did and just couldn't say it. Maybe I didn't and never will. It's complicated. Grief and betrayal tangled together. Love and hate in the same heart. She's gone now. Marcus is still alive. Living in Nevada. Alone. Divorced. Lost all his money in bad investments. Works retail now. At 63 years old. I don't feel vindicated by his fall. Or Diane's death. Just sad. Sad that greed destroyed a family. Sad that money made monsters out of siblings. Sad that I had to die, metaphorically, to learn who really loved me. Turns out, my blood family didn't. But the family I chose, Robert, David, my stepdaughter, my friends, they do. And that's enough. So baby, here's the truth I've learned after 60 years of living, 30 of them as a woman who came back from the dead. Family isn't who you're born to. Family is who shows up. Who fights for you. Who believes you're alive even when the world says you're dead. Money reveals character. Quickly. Brutally. Honestly. If you want to know who someone really is, give them access to your wealth while you're gone. You'll find out real fast. Coming back from the dead, literally or metaphorically, is possible. But it costs you. Costs you innocence. Costs you trust. Costs you the belief that the world is fair or people are good. But it also gives you something. Gives you strength. Gives you clarity. Gives you the knowledge that you can survive anything, even your own funeral. And that's power. Real power. The kind no one can take. The kind that doesn't come from money or status or success. It comes from surviving the unsurvivable. From coming back when everyone thought you were gone. I died at 28. Woke up at 30. Lost everything. Rebuilt most of it. And learned the most important lesson: I don't need everything. I just need enough. Enough money. Enough family. Enough love. Enough life. And I have that. After 30 years of fighting for it, I finally have enough. Thank you for sitting with me today, baby. For hearing this impossible, heartbreaking, triumphant story. For believing that dead people can come back. And when they do, they're stronger than ever. If you've ever been erased, forgotten, declared dead by people or circumstances, know this: you can come back. You can rebuild. You can thrive again. Not the same way as before, but in a new way. A stronger way. A way that proves you're unbreakable. Because you are. You're unbreakable. You're resilient. You're alive. And no one, not family, not circumstances, not even an 18-month coma, can take that from you. You decide who you are. You decide if you're alive. You decide if you're worth fighting for. And baby, you are. You absolutely are. God bless you, honey. This is Eve. Declared dead at 28. Came back at 30. Fought for 30 years. Finally at peace. And I'll see you next time.